Hey, Daniel Krill here with VC Golf, and today I'm going to be talking about what I believe is one of the two most important things to focus on your swing. And today I'm going to be talking about this cool new mat that I got. It's going to be an asset for my teaching to improve my own game. But again, I think a lot of teachers don't really invest. They invest in the cameras, they might have a launch monitor, but they don't invest in these pressure mats. And with these pressure mats, is really dissect the footwork in the golf swing. And again, your footwork is a lot of the cause of your swing path or your club head direction, any kind of lateral movement in your body or backwards movement, forward movement is all done in the footwork. So what's really cool is I'm going to demonstrate just really briefly kind of something. I got this pressure mat yesterday. I'm pretty familiar with kind of what you look for in the pressure mat. Nobody has a perfect, we call them foot trace, and you'll see when I stand on it, basically it's going to show my center of pressure, which is going to be the white dot in there, and it's going to show my weight distribution from my left, which is my lead, to my trail side, and then back to the lead side. So basically you're taking the club back from your lead, you're getting back here to your trail, and then you're getting back to your lead to get all that power through the ball. And it's going to show also the weight in my heels and in my toes in both feet. So do I finish on my heels? Do I finish on my toes? And again, I'm not going to go into specifics about it. There is no perfect foot trace, but there are ones that have problems, if that makes sense. And there also is consistency issues. So if you have a pro that is near you that has one of these, or you're local to North Alabama or around my area, around my region, you can always come and see me, and we can help your footwork. But again, the pressure mat is where I start with. And again, before I had a pressure mat, I always looked at people's footwork and I had to guess. But this takes the guesswork out, and this is where I'm going to start with my students is here, and then we're going to go into body movement if there is a lot there. But I'm going to try to stay away from body movement because everybody has a unique swing. But again, if they have a major flaw, it's going to show up in the foot trace. So what I'm going to demonstrate here is just one. It's kind of one of the old school myths. Before you had launch monitors, before you had pressure mats, we really didn't know what the numbers were with people. And at least me growing up, I was always told you needed about 40% pressure on your lead, 60 on your back, or 50-50. And it always made sense to me. And I think most of you will agree with you that if again, in the people that are 30 years and older, we were taught you always wanted more weight on your back foot, your trail foot, at address. And now what we find out is we put these pressure mats under a lot of tour pros, and we find that they actually have 55 to 60 on the front foot, their lead foot, and then 45 or 40 on the trail. And what that does is, you got to think, before you jump, you put a lot of pressure down on your feet, right? You've got to put a lot of pressure into the ground, and then you go up. So having more weight on your lead allows you to use it as leverage to get to your trail, get all that weight loaded, and now you have all that weight loaded on your trail, and now you can push off your trail efficiently and get to the lead. Again, these are minute movements that you're going to see in here, but again, we got to nail those down. Anybody of any age, of any capability, can get this movement right. Somebody that swings way over the top or way inside, they might not be capable of doing some of those things, but again, getting efficient footwork and getting it in the right positions on the heels and toes and the right sequences will actually improve that swing path without even focusing on it. So again, super duper important. And if you have problems hitting the ball solid consistently, I'm going to tell you, you need to find somebody with a pressure mat, because that is going to help you tremendously. Again, too many people focus on grip, swing path, and all these other drills that you're probably not going to get because you don't have the time to practice, and we're not all tour pros putting in 8 hours of practice a day. So again, let's start with something simple. We use our feet every day in everything that we do. Let's get that right and see if that improves your ball striking and your accuracy. And I'll tell you what, 90% of the time it will. So So find somebody that can get you a pressure mat and knows what they're talking about. So here was my original before I started getting, before I had this mat. I thought I was setting up good, and as you can see, let's see here. There we go. I'm in that 58-43 range, and on the screen, the right foot is my trail, and the left foot's my lead. So I'm 58-42, and that's how I've always set up. And what that's caused is I get too much weight back here, and it's hard for me to get over here. And I honestly try to stay on my right side a little longer because I thought that's what I needed to do, and that's what it felt like to me. I was getting too much weight to my left side too quick, but I wasn't. On this mat, it showed me, hey, you don't have enough weight on your left foot, and you're not getting to your left foot quick enough. So now what I'm doing is I'm able to move the ball. I had the ball too far back in my stance, and that was causing me to get more on my right side. So now I've moved the ball up a little bit. So I'm going up here, and now I'm putting just a hair little pressure on my left side, and it feels awkward. I don't really like the feel. But now I'm in that 57, 56, 44 range, right? And then I just do my normal swing, and I'm hitting it super solid now. I probably picked up 2 or 3 yards with my clubs, my irons. I haven't really hit driver yet, but that one I was talking, I didn't hit it very good. A little bit right, open face, as you can see. It just wasn't a good strike. But at 139, I need to be hitting this around that 145 range. Let's go ahead and try one, and I won't talk. Get set up. Look at my pressure. I'm at 54 on my lead, which is good. And honestly, I don't like the way it feels, but if I'm going to hit it more solid, and once I get used to it, I think it's going to be worth it. I mean, this is what the guys do on TV. And again, am I going to be as good as they are? No. But again, if this little bit of pressure that I can put on my lead side helps me, then I'm going to do it. But I notice on my pressure mat, now that I have stacked a little bit more pressure on my left side, I'm having a little bit harder time getting to my right side on my takeaway and loading all that power efficiently. So I'm going to have to play with it a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually slow down . So I'm going to record one, and then I'm going to analyze it for us. And I'm going to slow it down so you can see kind of what I'm doing. There we go, around 56 there on my lead side, and that's what I'm looking for, is a little bit more pressure in my lead. Wasn't hit very good. I'm going to take one more swing. I'm not getting in my right side on my takeaway, and let me focus a little bit more on that. Again, this is new to me too. 57 on my lead, which is good. Hit a little bit better. So let's go and trim this video. All right. So this is at my setup, and you can see my center of pressure, which is that white dot, is still really good. It's in the center of my stance, but again, it's favored my lead side because I've moved the ball up in my stance is what I've done, and it's kind of helped. And then you can notice I have a fairly straight trace. We call this a little bit of a fish hook trace. But it's close to linear, which is really, really good, but you can see where the green highlights are in my toes. So at address, I have more weight in my toes than my heels. I like the 55-45 on my lead. My trail, I need to get more weight in the heel at address and center that up a hair. So I start coming back. Let's move that over here. So I'm still on my way back. All right, and this is where pretty much all my weight is to my right side, but you can see I'm turning on my toe there. I have 63-37. I have 63% of the weight in my toe. I need to get that more in my heel, and I'll lose that little fishhook trace going forward, which is not terrible. There's a lot of guys on TV that's used this and has played really, really good golf that play in their toes. I favor playing in my toes because I grew up. I'm 5'4", and I had too long clubs growing up. So one, I had the clubs are too long. I had to jump at impact, and then two, to get power I jump. And again, is it the most efficient way to get power? Not really, but it doesn't hurt too bad. I time it well, and you can notice I haven't started moving the club down, and my weight is starting to shift to the left side. And we're going to come down here. So I've got 80-20 in my toe. I would like that red to shift down more towards the center of my foot, the balls of my feet, and it would be easier to get on my heels. And again, when you start downswinging on your toes, your tendency is to early extend and also lose a little bit of hip rotation. I'm still young enough and flexible enough. I still get my hip rotation, but I do early extend somewhat sometimes with my back. And again, that is fixed with my toes. If I had my weight in my heel through here or closer to my heel, that's going to free up my hips to keep turning, and that's going to keep my chest over the shot and not early extend. Again, instead of focusing on the early extension, all I have to do is focus on my footwork, and it's going to naturally fix itself. So you can see I'm well before impact, and I have 75-25, so I've done a good job of getting to my left side, which is good. And so I'm 86-14. I have 86% of my pressure on my left side, so I'm really going down to attack this ball. And of course, I've got all my weight off my heel on my trail foot. You can see the little blue circle is definitely on my toes, and that's 100% of the weight. So here's my impact position right here, and I've got 87-13. So that's pretty good. Again, I wished I had a little bit more in my heels, but you can see that red has creeped down into the back side of my foot at impact. So I'm actually staying down fairly decent, better than I used to. But my heel still comes off the ground, as you can. So I wish I could get there a little bit earlier and rotate more around that heel, and I just don't. But again, it's something I'm going to be working on. But all in all, my pressure trace is really good. It's very consistent. I keep this kind of pressure trace pretty much all the time. But again, I've got to work on my address position. So again, what I'm trying to do is get on my left side a little bit more at address. And what it's going to do is help me get a little bit better of attack angle because I'm a picker of the ball. And so should take a little bit more divots, which I'm going to like. I'm going to get a little bit more spin with my irons, which I could use. A lot of these shafts nowadays knock off a lot of spin, so that's going to help me. And probably gain a little bit more distance without sacrificing any of my trajectory or my apex. So again, it's if a student came in with this trace, I wouldn't be changing a whole lot. There would be some things I would make the student aware of. But again, I think at address, I would definitely have to alert that student into like, hey, let's get more to a 50-50 or a 55-45 or a 60-40, somewhere in there. I think 55-45 is ideal. and 55 being in your lead foot, not your trail foot. Again, that's where I'm being corrected myself. So again, if you go on YouTube, you can look up, go to V1 and follow their page. They have a lot of tour players, their traces, and you can see how they do their footwork. They're all different, but they're all super consistent, right? But you'll see some common themes in all of them. And again, they tend to stay a little bit more in their heels throughout the shot. And then they also have a little bit more pressure on their lead foot at address. So I hope you guys learned something today. If you guys are around my area, give me a call, schedule a lesson, get on this pressure mat. Let's start from the foundation, get your footwork right, and then we'll move to the hands and maybe a little bit of the swing. But again, get this footwork down, or if you have a tour pro that's near you, call that guy, schedule on there, get your footwork right, and I promise you, you won't regret it. You will definitely see instant success, not months down the road like when you're doing a swing change, but I'm talking about days. If you just go to the range and focus on this footwork, get a drill or two, and you're going to play better golf. These pressure mats are awesome. So again, tune in for more videos. Again, this is VC Golf. I try to upload about every week, at least one video. And thanks for tuning in. Please hit subscribe and like the video. And yeah, I'll see you.